guest is right here seated with us. We told you earlier in our intro that one of our conversations or discussion we're having today centers around special people around us, people with albinism. Okay, so albinism is a genetic condition that causes a lack of pigment in skin, hair, and eyes, sometimes accompanied by visual impairment. It is said that one major burden faced by persons with albinism is cancer. How can this be prevented? What are the everyday challenges of persons with albinism, and how can their rights be protected and preserved? Our guest, the president of the Albinism Association of Nigeria, will be having a conversation with us on these, essentially on implementing the national policy on albinism enacted and reviewed in 2019. But that will be after we have seen our video profile. All right, yes, that was the video profile of our guest who is right here with us. Please join us to welcome Mrs. Bisi Bamishe, President, Albinism Association of Nigeria, AN. She's also a journalist. Thank you for joining us today on Morning Ride.
Thank you.
All right.
Good to have you. She's a colleague.
Yeah. Indeed. So, I mean, we don't need to be, about question and answer here. We're just chatting.
Chatting.
Just having a chat. Okay, yes, we said we're talking about implementation of the national policy on albinism. Now, so that we can quickly maximize the time we have. Two questions in one. What's this policy about, and what is the role of your association in achieving this?
Okay, the national policy on albinism was developed and signed into law in 2013,
okay,
reviewed in 2019. The purpose of the policy is to improve the status of persons with albinism.
Okay.
We are called persons with albinism and not albinos.
Albino, yes.
So then the present FCT minister, Nelson Wike, was the Minister of State for Education then.
Oh.
So he set up the committee to look into the plight and challenges of persons with albinism, because we were incorporated into the disability community, and the United Nations and that of African Union ensure that every person with albinism should be taken care of by each country, and our government is part of that treaty. So then, when they set up the committee, it came out with this policy, which is a national policy on albinism in Nigeria, because it's supposed to highlight areas that the federal government should take care of, PWAs. So, because of the challenges we were encountering, most especially the socio-cultural challenges, the myths, the beliefs about persons with albinism, that they are ghosts, that they are cursed, etc. that even when we are going on the road, we start clapping, singing. So this policy is supposed to address all those issues. Also to provide provisions for the health care of persons with albinism, because cancer is our greatest enemy, because the sun affects our skin. And if I tell you that at the end of every month, we only have a record of 2 people dying of cancer within the community. It's not an understatement. So this particular policy is supposed to take care of our health, saying that the federal government should create research centers on albinism. Also, that the research centers should domicile in a federal teaching hospital. Aside that, they're supposed to put us on the health insurance scheme, which is not, as at present, in terms of the skin cancer. There is a general provision for cancer as a beneficiary in the National Health Insurance Scheme, but not particularly skin cancer. Also, the federal government is supposed to make sure that there's provision in terms of employment for PWA, because we cannot work under the sun. So there should be a provision for us to work in the office. But unfortunately, some of our members, they work in the sun. Presently, we have somebody on danger list. She works as a lawman in Lagos State, where she's always in the sun. It has not affected one side of her face.
No protective gadget or something?
Sir?
The face,
the nose.
Okay. I think for those who work in the sun, you see them putting on, white cap. I mean,
yes, orange. They normally put orange, but that
it.
one is not enough for her, because she's supposed to be using sunscreen, which is another issue, which the federal government is supposed to make provision for us, where to get it, how to get it, and at what price. All these have not been done. The federal government is also supposed to establish for us at the National Commission for Persons with Disability a department, so that we can be well taken care of. Then aside that...
So let me cut you a bit. What are you saying? You do not, persons with disability. I know that, like in Lagos State, there's an agency under the Ministry of Youth, LASODA, and I know that in several states, and even at the national level, there's a ministry, there's an agency for that.
National Commission for Persons with Disability.
Are you saying that you want the people living with albinism to be brought out and, maybe have an agency for them separately?
No, not an agency, ma. A department within that commission. That is what the policy says.
Oh, okay.
Okay, all right. I weave 2 questions into one. You've answered. You said so much about the policy. I said what about your association. Now, let me broaden that up a little.
My association.
Just a minute. I just want to broaden that so that you can take so many things together.
Okay.
In June this year, June every year, June 13 is International Albinism Awareness Day. Okay, and the theme for this year has to do with 10 years of how far this has been on for the last 10 years and all of that. So bringing your association into this now, what has been achieved in the last 10 years of your association, and for people living with...
Unfortunately, my association came on board about 3 years ago, when Ambassador Jacob Pele, the face of Albinism Nigeria, created and established the association.
Okay. Oh, is it?
So he has his own.
He has a foundation,
NGO. That is TAF Africa now.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
But he went ahead to create
the association
and registered it for us.
Oh, so the association is so young.
Very young, man. About 3 years. So he was the pioneer president. He handed over to me about 2 years ago as the president. And since we came on board, concerning this policy, we went in search of a donor who will help us in shouting out that this policy must be implemented. Because the policy is about 11 years old, reviewed about 5 years ago.
So are you saying all of the content of the policy, almost all, if not all, has not been implemented?
Yes. The only thing implemented, is what he has just mentioned, the International Albinism Awareness Day, which the policy says must be celebrated June 13th of every year, and the National Albinism Day in Nigeria, May 5th.
So what's the association doing in regards of this, engaging
for the implementation.
exactly the government to implement it?
This year we got a grant by Disability Rights Fund to embark on advocacy concerning this project. So we've been to the National Assembly. We were with the House of Representatives Committee on Disability Affairs, Honorable Daudu, who we went to please help us to push for the implementation. We also went to the Committee on Basic Education, because it is the Federal Minister of Education that is in charge of this policy, the implementation. So we also had a stakeholder meeting, strategic meeting with the Federal Minister of Education and other stakeholders, the principals of schools, etc. They have their own roles to play in ensuring that every child with albinism is able to have inclusive education. We also have an interactive section with the media parley, shouting to them that they should please help us out, to give us a voice, that this thing, the policy that have not been implemented, is affecting our members. You know, the provision of the policy says we should have good skin care, but we are not having it because we don't have the means of getting the sunscreen, which is very, very expensive.
Okay, so that area is very, very crucial. But I'm also looking at another area, okay, because we'll soon wind down in this discussion. I'm also looking at another area, especially that concerns you and the society. You're part of the society. I'm talking about people living with albinism now, and I know that there are myths surrounding, people, people with albinism, myths and certain beliefs that are not right. What are you doing, aside pushing for this, what are you also doing to change the narratives, to change the perception on these myths?
Yeah, thank you. That is the area of creating awareness.
Okay.
Yes, because people believe that we should not insult. It's not possible. You can't survive without insult. The only issue is the sun.
Is what?
That is sun.
Sun, okay.
The ultraviolet rays of the sun. That is our major challenge. And
so do you think that all of those, because I remember when I was a kid and I see someone living with albinism, I run.
Okay.
So do you think that a lot of awareness is being made and people are more aware that people living with albinism are people like we are and they need not to be, not a special treatment or something? Do you think there's enough awareness now?
There is no awareness. That's why we want to embark on it now. But we need money.
Okay.
We need money, and I think Lagos State is trying for us quite on that.
Okay, so let's clap for Lagos State.
We just have to give Lagos.
No, Lagos State government is
Lagos is always
trying.
setting the pace.
Yes, you are correct, sir. With Lasoda, with the GM of Lasoda, Adenike Oyetunde Lawal, she has really tried for us.
Indeed.
She was able to convince the Lagos State government to give us free medical care for skin cancer at Lasut. So if any member has a problem of skin cancer, we ask them to run to Lasut. Money has been deposited there for them, yes. And that is what the federal government is supposed to do for us in every state.
Okay. All right, so Lagos always setting the pace. If once this become very implementable in Lagos, I think you guys can just come together as Lagos and move to other states and go and
go
honestly, our time is fast spent, and I think we have to go.
Yeah, indeed, we have to go. We have to go.
But please help us to erase that belief that we are ghosts.
No, we are not.
See, many of us are in high places.
In fact, maybe one of the reasons why people are saying this is that, you see, I'm also baffled to find out that people who are living with albinism, they are so cerebral. I've interacted with them. They are so sound. How come they are, you know, putting you under people with no, people you under people with disabilities?
No.
Let me explain something.
Hold on.
It's because of our low vision.
Okay, low vision. That's why. Because you know, maybe that's why people are. Otherwise, people with disabilities are very, very sound.
That is just a major.
Okay,
so it's not the color pigmentation and all of that.
No, the color pigmentation is the result of the low vision.
Oh, yeah.
You know, for us, we lack, or some of us have low pigmentation. It is called melanin.
Melanin, yes.
So that is just if because we have very small portion, it affects the skin, the hair, and the eyes, like what you said.
All right, thank you very much for being our guest this morning. We just have to round up this segment.
Thank you very much, Mrs. B.C. Bamishe, the president of Albinism Association of Nigeria. We appreciate your coming today to speak for behalf of others who are living with albinism. Thank you very much for your time with us, and we wish you and your association well.
I want you to go home with one thing.
Okay.
It is only when the mother and the father have the gene that they can give birth to a person with albinism.
Fantastic. That is the enlightenment we are talking about. I mean, it goes
but
the
we
same.
Find,
no.
But we find people that are not even living with albinism give birth to.
Well, it's a genetic. It's a genetic issue.
The father and the mother must have the gene.
Yeah.
My parents have it.
When they say the gene, it's not the look. It's the gene. It's inside. Okay, so well, that's education for us here, and I know for many people out there. So yes, this is where we will wind down on the show today. Thank you so much. For joining us this week. Join us next week by His grace when we will return for another interesting package on Morning Ride. My name is Kazima Adeyemo. Go and have a fantastic week.
All right, it's a good place to call it a wrap this morning. Till we come your way same time, same show next week. My name is Yinka Kenning. For now, it is. Bye-bye.